Greetings, 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 urban bred people. This is a pastel gardener. Much love and appreciation. Thank you for joining me. You are watching the Urban Bred Gardener domain, and I want to give an update about what is going on today. So, I mentioned in my last post that I would put a link yesterday, but I was having some technical difficulty, and I am putting this link with this video here. So, it should be in this article. Now, the link is for you to join a Zoom call that I'm going to be doing later today. And in that Zoom call, unfortunately and fortunately, I am actually going to be releasing some items for exchange so that I can make space for the next phase of what I'm doing. Now, that may sound a little weird, but basically, what I'm aware of as far as universe goes in the energy is that sometimes you have to let some things go in order to get to the next phase. And that's what I have been working with the last few months, is determining what it is that I need to release and how to go about doing it. So I came up with this idea to just have a brief video session where people who would like to support me can come and make an exchange for some of the items that I want to release. Otherwise, people can just watch and see what's going on and then get more details about what's in the future. Now, specifically what I'm doing as well is the garden. So I have a bundle of Swiss chard here that came from the garden today. And this is quite a bit amount of leaves. This is a good meal for someone. And so I wanted to show that off. Beautiful leaves. And this came from, I believe, about 6 different plants. So I try not to harvest too much from any one plant. That way they still have their protection and their leaves to continue doing photosynthesis, because the whole point is that's what the leaves are doing. And if they don't have enough leaves to gather the sunlight, the plant will start to have issues. Doesn't always happen, but usually they come back, even if there's like 1 or 2 small leaves. But I try not to do that, because that stresses the plant out and then it has a harder time growing, and it can cause problems if you don't know what you're doing. So the other things I've harvested from the garden today are these grape tomatoes and some sugar snap peas. So the grape tomatoes, they're supposed to be this size, obviously, and this whole container here is full of sugar snap peas aside from the tomatoes on top. Now, someone may look at this and not think that's a good yield, but if you think how small these peas are, some of them are a little bit longer, some of them are smaller, but the idea is to get them while they're fairly young, or else they'll become full of a bunch of seeds. So you can kind of see the texture, the size there. So those are the little peas inside. And if they get too big, and if you leave it on the branch or the plant too long, the actual pod itself becomes tough and kind of woody, almost almost like a tree, and it's not pleasant to chew or eat. So they become inedible, and that's why you want to harvest them when they're still at a smaller size. Maybe not this small, but I was a little ambitious and was just picking. And then and then these grape tomatoes, they're a good size too. And I am only picking the ones off that have gotten ripe. So there's plenty more on the plants, and you see these got a nice full red color. So that's how I do the harvesting. And those are going to be a good meal as well. What I'm actually going to do is I'll make some quinoa, and then I'll dice up the little grape tomatoes and the peas, and then I will actually dice up the Swiss chard as well, and put all that together on top of the quinoa. So I'll cook the quinoa separately, let it fluff and do its thing, and then I will take these other items, like I said, chop them up, and then I'll put them into a dish that I bake in the oven. And then when that comes out, all I have to do is add some spices. Of course, add some spices to it before you bake it. But I will take that dish out of the oven and then just literally make a plate with the quinoa as the bed, and then put these vegetables on top of the quinoa. So perhaps I can do a video and show you how to do that. But this is how I live, and this is how I roll. So my food is very fresh when I have it available. And because I was going through a transition where the garden was still growing, the past few months, I had to substitute what I was eating with other items. And unfortunately, a couple of cans got resorted in there. Of course, I still check the ingredients, but it's still in the can. So anyway, but now that I've got fresh stuff available, I'm back full force eating as much fresh vegetables as possible, because that is actually optimal for the nourishment and absorption of the minerals, because they're fresher. You also get the energy that the plants have in them from the sunlight. So, because they're collecting energy from the sun, the sooner you eat the food after you harvest it, the more energy, the energetic, solar plasma energy you get from the actual plants and the vegetables into your being. So, that's keeping you energized as well. And this is part of the reason why, you know, just getting stuff at the store, um, and not growing your own fresh food, this is where the issue is. So a lot of people will say, hey, yeah, I ate this, but I still feel hungry or I don't feel energized. It's because the food you're eating, if you're just getting it from the grocery store, it was probably picked at least a couple weeks, maybe a month before. And if it's something in a can, Lord knows how many years it may have been in that can. So when you process food yourself and you do your own canning at home, the difference there is hopefully you're not using any chemicals, but it's also picked fresher so you can actually interact with it, and it's got your loving healing energy from you growing the stuff yourself. So these produce, this yield here is very dear to me. And because I was the one nurturing over it and providing it love, it's going to have a totally different energetic connection with me when I eat it. So that is the main thing with why I am promoting that we as urban people who were bred in the cities, we need to become aware of the truth and why we would want to have fresh produce, because it is the life force. We eat food to fuel our body. And if your fuel is crappy, you are going to perform crappy as well. So we want to have the most nutritious, nourishing, freshest food possible into our body. And if you need help calibrating your dinner plate, which is what I help people do, check out some of the services and products I have available. And you can start off solely with just one or two products that you can use on your own. And then you can always upgrade and learn more as you go. And then eventually you can move into some of the more serious private products and services where you're actually where I actually come and help you in your home with either dealing with your pantry or dealing with you in the garden, and specifically providing some guidance with you and your family, so that everyone is on board with the same information. But I must mention, disclaimer, I'm not a medical doctor. I am not like a tax advisor. I have to put all that. I'm not any of these professional legal things. So I just want to point out everything that I'm teaching you and that I've learned has come from my own private experience. So when you do make the exchange to have me help you and I'm sharing my knowledge, this is in the private capacity. So I just want to make that a point. Now, if you come to me and I'm at the farmer's market, that's different. That's public, and it's usually only going to be stuff that's very basic. So if you want to get more in depth, if you want to actually learn the real deal about what I do, like, how to specifically grow stuff and get all the behind the scenes information, you need to go into the private stuff and have me come to your home in private, and then we can really get to the meat. Of course, there's not really meat. Well, I guess in the Bible it says that the food is the meat, right? So there is some meat involved, but the idea is for you to get more knowledge and wisdom from someone who's had experienced it, like myself. It's been over 13 years I've been on this journey, and I have to mention also I've only been ill 5 days in that 13 years. and I've not needed any doctors. And if there was an issue, I was actually able to take care of it myself using the ancient health maintenance methods that I have learned and become very proficient in mastering, and how to use those for my own being, and thus I can pass that information on to you. So much love. If you are available, well, I shouldn't say if, I know some of you are, you do need to register in order to join the actual Zoom, because there's going to be the potential of an exchange there, because I will have the products available, and then you will be making that exchange so that you can become the new controller of whatever the item is. Otherwise, you can still join, but you still need to actually verify your account, whether you're purchasing or not, just because it's going to be kind of a private closed situation. And it's just going to be a brief video. It's not going to be anything too long. I'm just going to have the items. People are either going to agree and then make the exchange to have the item, or you're not. And then, so basically, it shouldn't take more than an hour. We're just going to say at least a half an hour to get things started. And then I will make a post after this to itemize and let others know. And if there's some things that are still on my Facebook Marketplace, you can also go there as well. But I want to just leave it very basic, just so people have an idea what's going on. So it's kind of like a live auction, is what I'm doing, but you're doing it with me. And it's going to be very basic, so don't get excited. I'm not going to be sitting here, 5, 6, 7, 7. It's not going to be like that, okay? It's just going to be me say, hey, I got this product. This is what I used it for. This is how you can benefit from it as well, and possibly in your lifestyle. And it would be great for the support, so that I can release some of these items and move on to the next phase, which you will be a part of as well. So much love. Thank you for joining me, a pastel gardener, here on the Urban Bred Gardener domain. I look forward to you joining the live auction that I'll be doing later. Again, the link is in this post, and you will see me in my next video. Thanks for joining. Much appreciated.